Welcome back again to I'm Bored, Why the Hell Not, Episode 4. And as any Star Wars fan will tell you, this is where we should have began in the first place. Let's start with a little sports, and Jason Vargas last night, another excellent performance for the Royals, giving up just one run and earning his fourth win of the season. He has 4 wins, the team has 8. 8. Where would this team be without Jason Vargas? But can he keep it up? Probably not. We know he's not going to continue to throw an ERA as low as he's doing and giving up just one run in most of his starts. But a very welcome surprise to the Royals after they get a guy back from Tommy John surgery to be doing this well. And speaking of the Royals pitching staff, can the rest of this pitching staff keep it up? Unfortunately, no. Now we expect the hitting to get better, and it's going to have to get a lot better because this pitching staff is not going to continue to put up numbers like they have so far. Even the top 3, Danny Duffy, Jason Vargas, and Ian Kennedy. Here's a graph as an example. If you look at this graph, 2 Royals pitchers, Jason Hamill and Ian Kennedy, are among the bottom in the difference between their FIP, or their fielding independent pitching, and their actual ERA, which means they were a little bit fortunate last year. Nobody maybe more than Kennedy, who gave up tons of home runs and was able to still have an ERA in the mid-3s. So we expect there to be a little bit of correction when it comes to that. Another thing that's a little bit alarming is the 5th starter, Nate Carnes. Look at his innings totals in his career. What's going to happen when he gets 15 to 20 starts into the season? I would expect a regression, and let's be honest, he hasn't been all that great to this point anyway. It was good to hear Jason Stark on the program with Soren Petro today. When Stark was let go by ESPN, many wondered if he would still be on with Soren throughout the course of the baseball season. By all accounts, in his conversation today, he will be, which is good. One thing A10 does have is a nice stable of experts, Jason Stark being one and Buster Olney maybe being the best expert that any of the local stations has on a weekly basis when it comes to covering baseball. You can hear him every week on the Border Patrol. Speaking of Stark and the ESPN layoffs last week, one of the things I found interesting was some of the reaction, including Kevin Kietzman's on Between the Lines. Now, he did show empathy and sympathy for those who were let go by ESPN, but he went on later to say that there are plenty of media jobs just floating out there. All you've got to do is adapt and adjust. Well, let me tell you one thing. Sure, you can adapt and adjust and find something like this to do. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of paychecks that come with that type of thing. And I also found it ironic that the one guy who talks about adapting and adjusting did so in his segment with Jack Harry, which appeared at 3 o'clock on Wednesday, just as it has for the last 20 straight years. So I'm sorry if I don't listen and quite buy it when someone tells me that they need to adapt and adjust on a segment that I've heard in the same time slot since, last century. Another media note, and something that I tweeted about earlier today, heard a promo from 610 Sports Radio saying that you can hear Ned Yost exclusively on their station every week. Why do they keep running promos like this when Ned Yost has been doing a weekly interview on 810 as well for well over a year? And speaking of that, I never understand the whole point of the media telling falsehoods when they know they're absolutely not true. Like how everyone has the best coverage at Chiefs training camp or spring training. Both radio stations are guilty of this. You know who has the best coverage? It's still the Kansas City Star. And even though not as many people are reading the physical paper anymore, the Star still puts more resources and more people on the ground to cover items like this and events like this than anybody else. So if anyone's really going to be touting the most coverage and the best coverage from any of these type of events, it is still the local newspaper. One other media note to leave you with as we head out the door. CDOT from the Drive on 610 sent this one out today. Wondering if anybody remembers LimeWire. Oh yes, I remember LimeWire and having to buy 2 separate brand new computers because LimeWire destroyed both of those. Ah, the old days of file sharing. That'll do it for episode 4. God willing, we'll be back for episode 5 real soon. Thanks for watching.